Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're looking into something pretty profound. Our source material talks about, well, an explosion of light. A really powerful, higher frequency energy that's apparently pouring into our world right now. And it's not just some metaphor. The text we're digging into suggests it's a tangible, transformative force. So our mission for this deep dive is to unpack what this energy actually is, maybe how it's affecting humanity, on a personal level, and what it might mean for you, for us, and our collective future. The source gives a pretty unique perspective on this whole global shift, and we're going to try and distill those insights for you.
It is a really compelling vision, yeah. The material we're looking at attributes this powerful influx of light to an entity called TEA of Arcturus. Apparently speaking for the Arcturian Council of 5.
Okay, Arcturians, for listeners who might be less familiar.
Right. Well, in certain spiritual teachings, they're often described as, let's say, highly evolved beings, like dimensional. Often seen as cosmic guardians or maybe teachers. The focus here really seems to be on a direct kind of conscious intervention from this specific galactic source, which suggests, a purposeful shift, not just some random cosmic event.
Right, purposeful. So let's get into this great blast of higher frequency energy that the source says is flowing into Earth. The language is quite strong, more powerful and direct than ever before. So what about the immediate effects? What does the source suggest happens with this kind of intensity?
Well, one striking thing the source highlights is how this radiant light isn't passive. It's described as actively moving aside old illusions of fear and separation. The idea is that only love remains.
Only love remains. That's a big statement.
It is. It implies a real dismantling of old ways of thinking, of old paradigms. Think of it like sunlight flooding a garden, right? Nourishing everything that's growing. The source actually says that garden is your own heart. And this light, it illuminates the truth of source in every moment, helping you recognize that the divine is right here within and around you. It really makes you wonder, what does it mean for only love to remain? How does light dissolve fear?
Yeah, that garden analogy helps make it feel more personal. And it connects to what the source says about our choices, right? It mentions each person's heart making a conscious choice about how much divine energy to welcome in, how brightly to let it shine. So what does this willingness to embrace the light, what does that look like in practice, and how is it supposedly transforming things already?
Right. The source suggests this willingness isn't really about intellectual understanding. It's more an internal resonance, a soul-level choice. It's about allowing this higher frequency energy to integrate. And as you allow it, the light just naturally starts to transmute denser energies like fear or limitation. So your willingness to embrace the light isn't passive at all. It's an active participation.
Okay.
And that participation kicks off this profound shift, both inside you and apparently in the world around you.
So individual choice leads to something bigger.
Yeah.
The source calls it humanity's grand soul agreement.
Yeah.
How does that collective decision fit in with this incoming light?
Yeah, this grand soul agreement idea is pretty fascinating. The material says that on the level of the higher self and soul, humanity has collectively agreed to open the floodgates. Floodgates for all humankind to experience more love and light on a higher plane.
Wow, collectively agreed.
Yeah, it's described as a unified yes, a conscious decision by the collective consciousness itself. A decision to step free of illusion, to awaken from the old dream of separation, and importantly, to creating a new reality. It's not like a political agreement, obviously. It's a deep spiritual consensus that happens before our working awareness,
That's powerful, to think that at some level we've already set this in motion. And because of that agreement, the source says the light is now more accessible, flowing without restriction, helping individual awakening. So what's required from us then if the light is flowing so freely?
Well, the beautiful thing, according to the source, is the simplicity. The only requirement is just willingness to receive and your courageous yes to this ascension journey.
Just willingness and a yes.
That's what it says. It emphasizes it's not a path of struggle or hard work, but more one of acceptance, allowing. And what happens when you say yes? Well, that's also profound. You apparently begin to consciously share it. You become like a beacon shining this light so that others can find their way out of the darkness.
A beacon?
Yes. Your heart awakened and illuminated serves as a spiritual eye for the collective, perceiving the truth and beauty of the divine in every situation. It really suggests this ripple effect where your individual choice fuels the collective shift.
Okay, this is where it gets really interesting for, daily life. The source claims the world itself starts looking different, more open, more fluid, and more blessed. It even mentions a shimmering quality to life, as if everything is vibrating with a new energy. What kind of actual experiences might someone have? This impulse of light communicating with every heart and every particle of life.
Well, the source suggests it's not just a mental shift, it's vibrational. Things in life that maybe felt heavy, limited, or weighed down by gravity suddenly feel lighter and more buoyant.
Lighter.
Yeah, it's as if the dense 3D world, and here 3D means our usual perception of physical reality, with all its limits and dense emotions, is giving way to a higher vibration.
Okay.
So instead of being totally bound by what seem like fixed physical laws, the idea is that shifting your own frequency literally changes how you experience reality. You may sense that you are ready to fly unbound by old constraints. That points to a pretty deep liberation from mental, emotional burdens.
And it goes further, saying things like constant struggling or solving endless problems are becoming obsolete. It claims problems can simply dissolve. That's radical for most of us, conditioned to fix everything.
Right.
How does the source explain why problems might just dissolve when you're in this higher frequency?
That's a key point. The source basically says that much of what you were taught about the world ideas based in fear, lack, or limitation no longer applies. When you raise your own frequency by welcoming this light, you become able to align with solutions effortlessly by holding the frequency of truth and love.
Align with solutions.
Exactly. It's not about fighting the problem head on. It's about shifting into a vibrational state where the solution is already sort of present, and it manifests without all that struggle. It's moving from a linear, effort-based way to something more, quantum, alignment-based.
And this call to say yes, it doesn't sound logical, more like an inner nudge. How does the source describe where that comes from?
Precisely. The material is clear. This call does not come from your logical mind or your intellect. Nope. It comes from the deepest, wisest part of you, your spirit and soul, which it says knows itself to be pure, awakened love.
Your spirit and soul.
Yeah. That wise part is stepping forward, becoming more prominent in your experience. And as it emerges, you feel yourself growing and expanding in light. You start remembering the truth of your being, which is that you are an infinite divine presence expressing temporarily through a human form. It's a remembrance, not learning something new.
Okay, so let's dive deeper into this light itself. What's its nature, according to the source? How does it interact with us? What does it show us about ourselves?
The source describes it as gentle and wise. It insists that it cherishes you and will never harm you. Instead, its role is to nurture and reveal your true self, helping you see your own divine reflection more clearly than ever. So it sounds like it's not a harsh or judgmental force, but more like a supportive energy for genuine self-discovery, letting you shed layers that aren't really you.
And this light also ignites something called the twin flame heart, or the union of divine masculine and feminine within you, describing it as the creative power of love itself. How does this creative power get ignited and amplified? And what's this about birthing new life with every thought?
Right, this is a really core idea in the source material. The twin flame heart isn't necessarily about finding a romantic partner out there. It's more about integrating those creative aspects within you, balancing giving and receiving, action and intuition, that sort of thing.
Internal balance.
Yeah. And as the planetary light increases, this inner balance and creative power get ignited and amplified through you. The source actually states that you, as your true divine self, are literally birthing new life with every thought and every loving intention.
Wow, literally birthing new life.
It implies a much more direct, powerful, co-creative relationship with reality. Your conscious focus, when infused with love, instantly shapes your experience.
And with this increased light and power, the source says the Creator pours gifts into you without measure. Blessings like insight, healing, joy, abundance, until your cup overflows. How do these gifts show up? And what does it mean to become a conduit or a channel for source love?
It suggests an almost effortless kind of manifestation. These gifts aren't something you earn through struggle. They're described as a natural result of aligning with this light. They spill over and spread to everyone you encounter. Not because you're actively trying to give them away, but because your whole being becomes a vibrational source of these qualities.
So you become a conduit.
Exactly, meaning you're not draining your own energy. You're just a clear channel for this infinite source love to flow through you. And that benefits everyone in your vicinity.
This expanded state seems to really change perception too. The source talks about claiming divine sight, the ability to see clearly through illusion. What illusions are we talking about here? And how is perceiving with the heart different from just, seeing with our eyes?
Yeah, it's about a fundamental shift in how you perceive reality. The light helps dissolve old dreams and outdated narratives, basically beliefs and stories about yourself and the world that are rooted in limitation or fear. So instead of seeing through the filter of past hurts or what society told you, you start to perceive with your heart, sensing the magnificence of your own soul, getting clarity about the unique gifts you came here to share. It's like seeing without the fog of the ego or external judgments. You intuitively recognize truth, beauty, and your own purpose.
So living in this new energy, it sounds like a complete transformation of everyday life. The source says synchronicities will occur more often, healing will happen more quickly, opportunities to spread joy will arise naturally, and even miracles, big and small, become an everyday occurrence. Why does that happen when you're letting the light guide you?
It really comes down to alignment. When you align with the frequency of source, you naturally operate in a state of flow, of abundance. The source strongly emphasizes that you already are this light and this love.
You already are it.
Yes, the very essence of your being is the same love that creates and sustains all that is. So this whole phase we're in is basically about remembering this truth. And as each day another layer of the old dream of separation falls away, the universe starts mirroring your inner state back to you, making things we call miracles just the natural outcome of your resonant frequency.
It's like life becomes a conversation of love where all of creation is part of this dialogue. And our part is just to allow our heart to share what it knows, speaking love through actions, words, energy. How does that set off a chain reaction, igniting other hearts and lifting the vibration?
Well, when your heart is open and aligned, your very presence emits a specific frequency, right? The source explains that this energetic broadcast is picked up by others intuitively, maybe even subconsciously. It sets off a chain reaction because love is, well, inherently resonant. It's contagious. It strikes a chord deep within others, activating their own inner truth. It's like a nonverbal communication that bypasses the logical mind and speaks directly heart to heart, and that naturally lifts the vibration of the collective field you're part of.
Which leads to what the Force calls an elevated state, where consciousness is bathed in the pure light of Source. It talks about feeling connected to something vast and beautiful, experiencing awe, seeing the extraordinary in the ordinary, love as a palpable force. How does one actually live like that, living in the heart of now?
This elevated state, the source suggests, isn't just a temporary high. It's meant to be a sustained way of being. Living in the heart of now means being fully present. The past and future lose their grip and your perception becomes much sharper, more vibrant. The extraordinary and the ordinary gets revealed because you start seeing the divine spark in everything, like really seeing it in a leaf, a stranger's smile, just a simple breath. And love becomes palpable, meaning it's not just an idea, it's something you can actually feel in your environment, guiding you.
And underpinning all of this is the activated heart, meaning the heart is fully online with the energy of Source, broadcasting love like a transmitter tower across the planet, pulsing out messages of pure love with every beat. In that state, what kind of ideas or beliefs does consciousness naturally let go of?
The source is quite clear here. In this awakened state, consciousness lets go of any ideas or beliefs that are out of alignment with that perfect love. So this means releasing judgments, fears, doubts, feelings of unworthiness, any limiting belief that creates a sense of separation from love. The heart, when it's activated like this, becomes a powerful beacon. It spontaneously transmits this coherent field of love, and that field naturally just disarms or dissolves those lower frequencies. It's described as a constant, almost effortless emanation, not something you have to consciously do all the time.
It's definitely reassuring to hear we're not alone in navigating such a huge shift. The source also mentions support from Arcturian friends and guides who are present within you as much as they are around you. What does that dual presence mean within and around?
Good question. It suggests the support is both external and deeply internal. Their presence within you could point to accessing innate wisdom, like your own higher guidance system, through stillness or intuition. And their presence around you implies a broader energetic field of assistance, maybe like guardian energy. The source says you can sense their presence in moments of stillness, suggesting it's often a subtle, intuitive knowing, not necessarily a dramatic visitation. It's really about recognizing that help is always available, on multiple levels or dimensions.
This seems to really underscore the power of unity, doesn't it? The source stresses supporting one another, reminding us, you do not have to do this alone, each person carrying a piece of the greater puzzle. When we come together sharing our hearts, sharing our light, How does that really amplify the blessings? It's more than just feeling good together.
Oh yes, the source suggests a synergistic effect. When individuals align their hearts and intentions, the combined energy field grows exponentially. It's not just 1 + 1 = 2.
Right.
It creates a powerful collective resonance that can actually manifest significant shifts much more quickly. Even a simple loving thought or prayer for someone else can create miracles because, from this perspective, thoughts and intentions are energy. And when focused collectively, they have a tangible impact on the planetary consciousness. It's like conscious co-creation on a massive scale. And this web of support goes even wider, right? Many benevolent beings and spirits supporting you, angels, ascended masters, your galactic family. The source even specifically mentions the beloved Jesuit Jesus, who holds the light of Christ consciousness for the world. How do these figures serve as examples of what is possible?
They act as energetic templates, you could say. Christ consciousness, in this context, usually refers to a state of universal, unconditional love and unity, something accessible to everyone, not tied exclusively to one religion.
Okay, a state of being.
Exactly. These beings, through their own journeys, demonstrated mastery over limitation, embodying love and creation. They show humanity the full potential of living from that activated heart. They're presented not as distant figures, but as part of a larger spiritual family, offering guidance and energetic support to help us embody those same qualities ourselves.
It really brings home the significance of our individual actions in this whole collective awakening. Each time you choose kindness, pray for peace, or help another soul, you uplift the vibration of the planet. These small acts are profoundly important. So how do all these individual acts of love combine to actually create nothing less than a new reality?
Well, because reality itself, from this viewpoint, is a direct reflection of consciousness.
Yeah.
As more and more individuals shift their frequency towards love, kindness, peace, the collective consciousness of the entire planet literally transforms. It's like changing the main frequency on a radio. The whole broadcast changes. These individual choices, these acts of love, they are the very building blocks of this emerging new reality, actively manifesting a world that mirrors love more truly.
Okay, as we start to wrap up this deep dive, the source leaves us with a really pertinent thought to chew on. The human mind, when it feels separated from the heart, invents many stories of unworthiness or fear, but those are just fantasies. In the grand reality, it is truly impossible for you to be anything other than a pure aspect of source. You simply are love. Wow. What's the implication of that realization, this powerful blast of remembrance?
That is the ultimate activation the source talks about, I think. It suggests that all the struggle, the feeling not good enough, the fears we hold, they're basically constructs, fantasies created by a mind feeling disconnected from its true source, its heart.
Just fantasies.
Yeah. The fundamental truth of your being, it says, is pure, awakened love. Full stop. Realizing that, truly knowing deep down that you simply are love, that's the breakthrough. It dissolves the illusion of separation. It reveals your inherent perfection. It's not something you become. It's something you remember you always were.
So this whole deep dive seems to suggest that, well, nothing else is really needed for, say, salvation or ascension, except remembering love. And the source hints that when enough of you hold this truth steadily, the world will utterly transform by the natural grace of that love. What does it look like for enough of us to hold that truth? How can we practice this? We'd invite you maybe to just practice living from your heart, see how life responds. It doesn't have to be huge things. Maybe where there's conflict, consciously choose peace, even just internally. Where there's boredom, look for purpose in something simple. Where fear tempts you to shut down, choose the courage to connect, even in a small way. The source calls this the true goal of all spiritual practice, to remember love so consistently that it becomes who you are in every breath.
Yeah. This is the ascension of Earth, as the source describes it. A true explosion of light spreading out everywhere. It's really an invitation, isn't it? To step into your days fully as the light bearers and leaders of the new Earth that you inherently are, because the world, it seems, is ready for your brilliance.